Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is my third ever video, and today it's going to be a short and simple video. It's going to be me feeding my Mata turtle Viva. For those of you that want to get a more in-depth look at Viva, my awesome Mata turtle, feel free to check out the first video I made. That's me introducing Viva. And the second video is simply Viva just using his classic suction feeding to take down a fish, and it's in slow motion so you can see how the technique works. Well, today I'm just going to go over one of the ways that I feed Viva. It's going to be quick. And then maybe in my next video it'll be more of a tank setup. So behind me, this is Viva's hangout, his habitat. And before I start, I just want to say that normally I feed Viva in a separate bin or a separate box. And that's because the debris that's created, leftovers from food, a lot of times Viva will defecate during feeding time. It just allows Viva to kind of muck up water that's not in Viva's tank right here. Okay, so it's a lot better if the leftover fish or leftover shrimp or whatever Viva's eating that day is left in water that's quickly discarded. If those leftovers end up in here, they could get stuck under some of the debris, they could get maybe stuck behind the cave here and decompose and then add to the ammonia. But just for viewing purposes, and because Viva definitely likes to stay in this container, I'm going to show you feeding Viva in his habitat. So how I do this is, you never want to feed with your fingers, okay? And I'm feeding things that can't move. It's not a fish that's going to swim in front of Viva or that Viva can hunt down. And you never want a turtle to associate fingers with food. So I'm going to use these to feed Viva. These are feeding tongs. And especially for Matas, I really stress the importance of using these soft wooden tongs. And that's because how Matas eat is they strike with a lot of speed at their prey. And when they do that, they also expand their throat. And between the speed and that throat expansion, it creates a low pressure system. That's a fancy way for just saying that it essentially creates a vacuum and it swallows that water and the prey into its throat. Then Viva will close her mouth just a little bit so that the item can't escape, but Viva can expel the water, and then Viva will swallow the prey. Okay? That speed that he's striking with will often impact the tongs. And if it's metal tongs or sharp tongs, that can most definitely cause damage to Viva's face. Because I'm using wooden tongs, Viva will strike, hit the tongs, grab onto them, and be completely unaffected by it. So the food of choice today is going to be frozen salmon pieces. I'll also feed Viva shrimp, tilapia. A lot of times I'll hide some calcium or vitamin powder. I'll kind of cut a hole inside some of the fillets and fill that, because being an aquatic predator, a lot of times if you just powder something on the outside, it'll just float away as soon as that food item hits the water. So I'll be feeding Viva in his tank. I'll be using the tongs. I'll be feeding some frozen salmon pieces today. I will do live fish as well. It's not only that he's hunting, he's getting good mental stimulation, and then he's getting the whole fish too. When you do frozen fish, it's not getting all the vitamins and things that living fish have with it. So that's why I often complement frozen meals with some powder, depending on what day it is. So it's just going to be a quick video. Viva's just hanging out. Being an ambush predator, Viva's not going to be moving around. Viva's just going to sit there in that cave, and in doing so, use that amazing camouflage and wait for prey to come to him. And today, the prey is going to be pretty easy because it's salmon pieces at the end of a pair of tongs. So I'm going to flip the camera here. And there he is, Viva. And you can see that amazing camouflage. I really love that those leaves ended up right next to the cave. Viva absolutely loves that cave. Whenever I have to take him for a program, I will bring that cave with him. He loves hiding in there. He'll also sometimes hide under this root display here, but he really loves the cave. Now, I just gave Viva a piece, so I know he's hungry, and they really associate their food with how it's being delivered to them. As soon as Viva saw the tongs, he knew that it was food time. Viva will even strike tongs without any food. That's how much he associates food with it. So I can't stress, please do not use your fingers with feeding turtles, because then every time your hand's in the tank, they're going to go for it. So here we go. Here's the first piece of salmon. Sometimes I'll drop the prey in front of the face to try and see if Viva will hit it while it moves, but just to make things easier, I'll put it in like this. And let's see if Viva will go to it. Come on, Viva, you're gonna make me do all the work. Whoa! So you can see how fast that was, and Viva did make contact with the tongs, but he's okay. so you can kind of see how it's expelling that food. And I know some of this debris floating around, if you can see it, is definitely debris on the bottom. And because he strikes so fast, he actually causes a wave effect. You could see some of the gravel move when he does strike, but some of that debris could be pieces of the fish that is now organic waste in my tank. So another reason why I like to do this in a separate feeding container. But as I said, for video purposes, I think it'd be cool to do it in his tank today. So I think because of the whole swallowing process, Viva does take a minute or two before he's ready to take another piece of food. So I'll just kind of maybe talk about him a little bit. It's not like another turtle that will just keep eating. You can see those kind of flaps underneath Viva's head there. Those flaps, there's a couple things. Some people think that they contain sensory receptors to help feel movement around the area. Okay, remember they're in dark lit places and cloudy water with a lot of tannins. You can see that kind of amber color of the water. It'd be great to have other sensory receptors to hunt fish. Other people think that it's simply just extended camouflage. They look like bits of leaf. And I've also read other reports that they think that those waving in the water actually attract fish. So you can get a real good look at Viva and just how still he is. Now, due to the neck that's longer than its shell and that snorkel there, Viva can sit in that log and go for a breath without having to swim out. So he literally does not move too much. A very sedentary turtle, much like an alligator snapping turtle, which I will be getting shortly. So here we go. I'm going to go fish number 2. And Viva, let's hope you're ready, because everybody's watching. There we go. See? Do you see how the fish pieces coming out? Yeah. Now you can see how the fish is staying there. You can see it. And it's because Viva, as you can see, that throat kind of getting smaller. He's excreting that water. Making sure he's not going to swallow all that water too. And then swallow the fish. I've also seen Viva, while swallowing, turn his neck completely sideways. I think he does that to make a kink in his neck. Yeah, he's doing it right now. He's doing it right now. I think that he does this so that he can make a kink in his neck and expel all the water without expelling the food item. When I feed Viva smaller food items, sometimes he expels them with the water on accident. Yeah, see how he's twisting his head? And it looks like he just expelled some water right there. Awesome. One thing I love about Mata is they're always smiling. So I've had Viva for a few months now, and he's doing really, really well. I spend a lot of my time doing water quality tests and all to make sure that Viva has a good life here. And he does. He's growing, he looks great, haven't had any issues. Appetite is crazy, I have to limit how much I feed him. And I think as soon as Viva goes back to that regular stance, he's ready for his last piece of fish. So if you do have any questions regarding Mata turtle care or anything, please feel free to leave in the comments. Oh, Viva's going up for a breath, just as I explained. There he goes. So look, perfect. You can just see that nose dipping from the top of the water. He's getting the air he needs, and he doesn't have to leave the cave. Now, not only does that conserve energy, but if there are fish swimming around, he may be able to do that undetected because he's barely moving. So now that he just took a breath, I think he's ready for his last piece before we end this video. So here we go, last piece of salmon. Oh, yep, definitely ready. And there it goes, faster than a blink of an eye. If you really want to see how these things hunt, watch my last video of Viva hunting in slow motion. My next video will most likely feature my entire setup, filter and all, for my Mata turtle. For those of you aspiring to be a Mata turtle keeper, I will say right now that it is a ton of work. And what little social life I had before this plummeted after I got this turtle, along with the others. So please keep in mind, between that and the long lifespan of this turtle, you are signing yourself up for a lot of work. For me, for all the kids that get to see this turtle during my programs and see the look of just awe, pure awe and excitement on their faces, it's totally worth it. So, alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more turtle related or outdoor related videos. I will be making an owl prowl video soon, which will feature me and perhaps a friend out in the woods doing some owl calls for various owl species in Western New York. But until I get a chance for that, I'll stick with these awesome turtle videos. So please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and thank you for watching. Viva says have a good one, everybody.